right, seeing it up on your TV screen, that's one thing, but what about the supermarket shelf? It's going to be hard to miss there at the checkout stand, no doubt. The cover of the new Time magazine, there it is. Take a good look. A mom breastfeeding her 3-year-old son with the caption, "Are you mom enough?" Now some parents look at this and say, if he's old enough to ask for a cookie with that milk, then he's old enough he's too old for breastfeeding. All right, brothers, this is totally normal. They're the ones who subscribe to what's called attachment parenting, like Leyani Redditi, who is with the group Attachment Parenting International. And we're also joined by Jeff Gardier. He's a clinical psychologist. Thank you, Jeff. Good to see you. First to Leyani. So tell us about this approach to parenting, because you're making a lot of people feel guilty, I think.
Oh, I hope not. That's not our intention at all. Our intention is to give people choices and make the best choice for their kids. All of us who are parents want the best for our kids. Yeah. And it's about researching and finding information that fits with what makes sense in your gut.
All right. So Time magazine, they got what they wanted with this cover, because everyone, I mean, we're having a conversation about it now.
Exactly.
It's generating a lot of conversations. It's probably going to sell well. When you see this, but this article is not just about breastfeeding. You see this kid on the cover. That's one part of it. How old is too old?
I think that's a personal choice. I absolutely do. I think it is something that we all need to decide and have as much information about it as we can. And attachment parenting is about making choices that give consistent, loving care to your child.
Jeff, I want to bring you in here and ask you a similar question. 3-year-old, breastfeeding, I mean, when do you cut the cord?
Well, again, I think Leyani does have a very good point. It is the choice of the parent, but I would then caution parents to think about peer pressure and your child. Yes, you want to do the best for your child, and that's what attachment parenting is about, listening to the voice of your child, but you also have to listen to some of those other voices, too. What happens when a child who's 4, 5, 6 years old is having the breast of the mother in a park somewhere, and this child's friends or other people are nearby, and what may happen as far as some criticisms and how that child may take it. So there's a point of diminishing returns versus the health benefits of continued breastfeeding.
What do you say to that? Do you think that a kid's going to be ostracized or laughed at because he's still breastfeeding at a certain age?
I can speak from my experience that my children have not experienced any of that, and that it's something that we do in our home. We do it in the privacy of our home, and it's not something that we want to flaunt to everyone. It's something that works for us.
What's the big deal? When I saw this cover, I mean, I have to say, maybe I'm different. I was just like, I didn't see the big deal, because I see people breastfeeding all the time. I think that's a normal part of it. And I'm wondering if, when I said you're making people feel guilty, if we need to reevaluate parenting and the responsibilities of parenting, and when to let go and when to not, and when to go back into the job place, if at all, when you have a kid. Do you
I
agree?
think that women who want to work should work and find consistent loving care through providers or family. This is not a choice for working moms versus stay-at-home moms. Absolutely. This is about finding a place, an environment for your child that is consistent and loving and meets their needs.
There are critics who say this is more for the mother. This is more about the mother than the child. The mother can't let go, therefore she wants to have this attachment.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. For me, it's like your child learning to ride a bike. You know, you can say, go get on that bike, and they'll fall over. Or you can hang on to the back of the bike, and guess where that bike's going to go? Once they get it, they're going to ride right away from you. And that's the way that it should be, when they're ready, on their time, with your support.
Hey, real quick, I want to listen to the mom on the cover. Do we have a listen to the mom who's on the cover of the magazine, and then we'll talk.
That can happen. So not at all. And I think intimacy is extremely important in a marriage, and I think a strong marriage is going to be a great foundation to show your children how to be raised confident and happy. And I had that with my family too. So my parents were great role models for me.
I need to tell our viewers that's going to be on tonight. That was Jamie Lynn Grummett, and she's speaking to Aaron Burnett. You saw that. It's going to be on tonight. She was asking whether it hurts her marriage. I mean, is that something that, Jeff, that couples have to think about, and when they're going into this extreme parenting, about whether it's going to hurt the relationship that brought the child into the world?
Well, it could interfere in the relationship when you look at attachment parenting. It's a situation of where, as part of that attachment parenting, we keep kids in the bed, 4, 5, 6 years old, and you have to look, of course, your children are your primary concern, but you have to look at your marriage, your relationship too, and having a child in the middle of the bed or on the side of the bed, but in that marital bed, could negatively impact that relationship. And we've heard not women so much, but men, husbands complain about this. So you have to hear those voices too, and I think that's important.
And attachment parenting is really spending more time with the child. As the doctor said, letting the child sleep with you, breastfeeding maybe for a longer period of time.
Possibly, if that's a choice.
Yeah.
Attached parents also bottle feed, and attached parents always will have their children sleep near them, not necessarily in the bed.
What's the difference between normal regular parenting and attachment parenting?
Oh, well, I would hope that this is normal.
What we see is traditional.
Well, and that's a good word that you said, because historically this is the way that people have raised their child. It's only within the past 150 years that people have put their babies alone in another room. This is something that's very normal all over the world, and I'm excited that people are getting to know more about it. And if you'd like to find out if it's negatively impacting my marriage, you're happy to ask my husband. Tomorrow we're going out on a nice Mother's Day date without our children.
I'll leave that to you, but I'll thank you. Thank you, Leyani. Thank you, Jeff Gardier. We appreciate it. Interesting conversation.
Thank you.
All right.